Have you ever noticed how the smallest, dumbest things can hijack your entire day? A stranger cuts you off in traffic. A coworker makes a careless joke. Your partner forgets something minor. These aren't life-ending betrayals. They're tiny sparks, and yet those sparks ignite a fire inside you that burns your peace to the ground. It doesn't make sense, does it? You tell yourself, don't take it personally, let it go. But your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, and suddenly you're replaying that moment over and over. Hours later, you're still carrying the weight of someone else's stupidity. And here's the cruel irony: while you're fuming, they've already forgotten. So why do we hand over so much of our power? Why do we let the careless, the thoughtless, the foolish control our emotions as if we were puppets on their strings? The Stoics saw this problem clearly. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't be harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. The challenge is not out there, it's in here." Imagine if nothing petty could shake you, if no insult could break your stride, if you could walk through chaos, calm, steady, untouchable. That's not fantasy, it's a discipline. And in this video, we're going to uncover 8 timeless Stoic lessons to stop getting angry at stupid things and to start living with strength, clarity, and freedom. Lesson 1. Recognize the pattern before it controls you. Most people believe that anger strikes suddenly like lightning from a clear sky. But if you trace the moments leading up to an outburst, you'll see a pattern. Anger is rarely random. It's rehearsed. It's the result of small, unresolved irritations piling up until one last straw breaks you. Think about your own week. Maybe you started Monday already stressed from lack of sleep. By Tuesday, a client dumped last-minute work on you. Wednesday, traffic made you late. Thursday, your kid ignored your request to clean up. Each of these moments might have seemed minor on its own, but together they formed invisible cracks in your patience. Then Friday arrives and a coworker makes a dumb remark during a meeting. You snap. To everyone else, it looks like you lost control over something trivial. But the truth, that outburst was building all week. The Stoics compared the mind to a dam. Ignore the leaks and pressure builds silently. Then one small feather lands and the entire wall bursts. The feather wasn't the problem. The ignored pressure was. That's why awareness is your first line of defense. Track your emotional triggers like a general studying enemy movements. Ask yourself, when am I most likely to lose my temper? Is it in the car when you're hungry, when deadlines loom, or when a certain person uses that dismissive tone? Write it down. Don't rely on memory because memory fails in the heat of the moment. Now let me give you a real story. A friend of mine, a firefighter, once told me he used to snap at his wife after long shifts. Not because she did anything wrong, but because he carried the stress of life and death calls home with him. For years, he thought his temper was just who he was. But once he began logging his triggers, he realized the truth. He wasn't angry at her. He was leaking stress from the job. That awareness allowed him to pause, acknowledge the buildup, and stop punishing the wrong person. We need to stop saying, "I'm just short-tempered." That's not an identity. That's an excuse. Anger is not who you are. It's a habit you've practiced, and habits can be broken. Here's a Stoic shift. Instead of trying to control the world so it never provokes you, train yourself to notice the moment your body begins to change: the tight shoulders, the shallow breath, the clenched jaw. That's your cue. That's when you can breathe, step back, and break the chain before it snaps. Every time you catch the pattern early, you reclaim power. And each interruption builds a stronger version of you, a version that doesn't get dragged into every minor storm. Because here's the bottom line: you will always encounter foolishness. But you don't have to be ruled by it. Expect it. Recognize it. Prepare for it. And when it shows up, don't flinch. Smile. Because this time, you're the one in command. Lesson 2. Understand what you're really angry at. On the surface, anger often looks simple. Your coffee spills, someone cuts you off in traffic, a colleague sends a blunt email. You feel disrespected and you react. But the Stoics would tell you anger almost never comes from the thing in front of you. It comes from what's already inside you. Let's take a common example. You're driving home exhausted after a long day. Someone drifts into your lane without signaling. You slam the brakes, curse under your breath, and for the next 10 minutes, your blood pressure is climbing. Now here's the question: are you really furious about that one careless driver? Or are you angry about the exhaustion you've been carrying all week? the deadlines that are suffocating you, and the fact that you feel like no one notices how much weight you're holding. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. Things don't disturb you. You disturb yourself about things." In other words, the world pokes at what you've already left unresolved. Anger isn't just about the trigger, it's about the fuel you've been stockpiling. Think back to the last time you snapped at someone you love. Did their small mistake truly deserve that level of heat? Or was it just the easiest outlet for the pressure building inside you? I've watched strong men fall into this trap repeatedly. They bottle up stress, pride themselves on being unshakable, and then lash out when the tiniest straw lands on the camel's back. Afterward, they feel ashamed not because of what happened, but because they know the real storm was never about that moment. Here's the danger anger lies. It shows up wearing the wrong name tag. You think you're mad at your spouse for forgetting something, when in truth you're terrified of failing at work. You yell at the broken remote, but what you're really yelling at is the feeling of being out of control in life. Without reflection, you'll keep chasing shadows, fighting battles that don't even exist. So how do we break this? The Stoics advise to practice pause and ask yourself, what am I really angry at right now? Is it this single event, or is it a pile of hidden frustrations? 9 times out of 10, you'll discover that your anger is misdirected energy. And once you name the real source, the power shifts. A personal example. When I was younger, I used to explode when people interrupted me in conversations. I told myself it was about respect. But when I really examined it, the truth was different. I felt insecure, like my voice didn't matter. That insecurity disguised itself as rage. Once I understood the core wound, the interruptions didn't sting as much. I could respond calmly because I wasn't fighting a phantom anymore. The takeaway: don't just react to the spark, look at the fuel. Journaling helps. Write down what bothers you, but go one layer deeper each time. I'm mad at my boss becomes I feel undervalued. I'm angry about the traffic becomes I hate feeling powerless. That clarity transforms anger from a blind force into a message you can decode. Because real strength isn't raising your voice. It's naming the truth beneath it. When you master that, you stop being a prisoner of surface-level irritations and start becoming a man in command of himself. Lesson 3, stop taking things personally. One of the biggest traps in life is assuming that everything is about you. Someone speaks in a sharp tone and you feel attacked. A coworker forgets to greet you in the morning and suddenly you think they don't respect you. A stranger cuts you off on the highway and you believe it was intentional. But here's the reality: most of the things that sting your ego were never aimed at you in the first place. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus once said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." In other words, your suffering often comes from how you interpret events, not from the events themselves. When you take everything personally, you're like a man walking around with open wounds. Every careless brush from the world feels like an injury. But think about it. The email your boss sent that sounded cold. Maybe he was drowning in deadlines and didn't have time to add pleasantries. The silence from your partner. Maybe she was lost in her own thoughts, not ignoring you. The guy who cut you off in traffic, he probably didn't even see you. Yet if you interpret each of these as a personal attack, you hand away your peace cheaply. I once coached a young manager who kept spiraling at work because he thought his team didn't respect him. Every missed deadline felt like sabotage. Every sigh in a meeting felt like defiance. When we finally sat down and unpacked it, he realized something humbling: his team wasn't plotting against him. They were overwhelmed, distracted, and sometimes careless. But none of it was about him. Once he stopped taking everything personally, he stopped feeling constantly disrespected. And ironically, his calm response earned him more genuine respect than his defensive anger ever did. The Stoics had a word for this strength: apatheia. It doesn't mean being indifferent like a stone. It means being in command of your emotions, unmoved by the trivial offenses of others. It's not coldness, it's control. Imagine a boulder sitting in the middle of a rushing river. Water crashes against it all day, but the rock doesn't move. That's what mastery looks like. So how do you practice this in real life? Start with awareness. The next time someone says or does something that stings, pause and ask, is this really about me? More often than not, the answer is no. People act from their own pain, stress, or ignorance. Their behavior reflects their inner world, not your worth. And when you realize that you gain freedom, Instead of flinching at shadows, you can stand steady. Instead of snapping back, you can smile and move on. That's not weakness, that's strength. Here's the truth: boys take everything personally because their egos are fragile. Men, however, know who they are. They don't need every gesture to affirm their value. They don't crumble when someone forgets to say good morning. Their worth is rooted inside, not dependent on the noise outside. So practice this daily. When someone criticizes you unfairly, breathe. When a stranger is rude, don't bite. Remember, it's rarely about you. Protect your peace by refusing to internalize what doesn't belong to you. That's how you shift from emotional slavery to emotional sovereignty. Lesson 4, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 days? Here's a mental trick that can change your entire relationship with anger. Zoom out. Most of the things that get under your skin don't actually matter in the long run, sometimes not even in the short run. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves that perspective is power. When you expand your time horizon, what feels like a crisis shrinks into nothing more than a passing inconvenience. Think about it. You're stuck in traffic and a driver cuts you off. In the moment, your heart races, your jaw clenches, and you're ready to explode. But if I were to ask you, will you even remember this in 5 days? You'd have to admit the answer is no. Yet right now, in the heat of the moment, you're sacrificing your health, your peace, maybe even your relationships over something that doesn't even pass the 5-day test. Marcus Aurelius practiced this mental zoom out constantly. He reminded himself that soon enough, he and everyone around him would be gone. The petty annoyances of the day would mean absolutely nothing in the grand sweep of time. His perspective wasn't depressing, it was liberating. Why rage at trivial things when you could save your energy for what truly matters? Here's a modern example. A friend of mine used to come home from work irritated almost every day. The triggers were small: a coworker forgetting to copy him on an email, a minor scheduling mistake, a sarcastic comment in a meeting. By the time he walked through the front door, he was already short-tempered with his kids. One night, his daughter asked him if he was mad at her. That broke him. He realized he was dragging anger from work into the one place he wanted to be calm. When he started practicing the 5-day test, everything shifted. Each time a frustration rose up, he asked, will this matter by the weekend? Almost always the answer was no. And with that simple shift, he began protecting his family from the fallout of his misplaced anger. The mind exaggerates when it's stressed. It takes inconveniences and paints them as insults. A delay becomes disrespect. A mistake becomes betrayal. That's the trap. But when you ask the 5-day question, you puncture the drama. You force your brain to admit that most things simply don't matter. This doesn't mean ignoring real problems. Some things will still matter 5 days or even 5 years from now. A broken trust in a marriage, a decision at work that affects your career, those deserve your calm attention and deliberate action. But the rude cashier, the late text reply, the offhand remark, they deserve nothing. Not your rage, not your energy, not your peace. Here's the deeper Stoic lesson: your attention is currency. Whatever you invested in grows in your life. If you spend it on petty annoyances, your world becomes smaller, angrier, and more fragile. But if you invest it in long-term values, your health, your family, your purpose, you build a life that minor irritations can't touch. So the next time anger rises, pause and ask, will this matter in 5 days? If not, breathe, let it go, and walk forward lighter. That single habit can save your relationships, protect your peace, and give you back hours, maybe even years of your life. Lesson 5, pause before you react. Anger is fast. It doesn't knock politely on the door of your mind, it kicks it down. 1 second you're calm, the next you're snapping at your coworker, slamming your steering wheel, or saying something to your partner that you regret the moment it leaves your mouth. That's not strength, that's surrender. And the Stoics warned us that the man who cannot pause before reacting is a slave to his impulses. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that. Freedom isn't just political or financial, it's emotional. If you react instantly to every provocation, you're not free. You're predictable. You're controlled by every fool who knows how to push your buttons. Here's the key: you must create a gap, a fraction of a second between the trigger and the response. That pause is your battlefield. It's where you reclaim control, and it doesn't have to be long. Sometimes just one breath is enough to prevent an explosion that could wreck your entire day or even your relationships. Let me tell you about a client I once worked with. He was a talented executive but notorious for his temper. In meetings, if someone disagreed with him, he snapped instantly. Over time, his reputation was clear, brilliant, but volatile. People avoided bringing him bad news because they feared his reaction. And that avoidance cost him. He missed opportunities, critical updates, even respect. When I suggested practicing the pause, he resisted. "I can't help it," he said, but we trained. Every time he felt heat rising, he had to count to 3 in silence before speaking. At first he hated it, but slowly something shifted. By pausing, he saw situations more clearly. He responded with reason instead of rage, and the respect he once lost began to return. You see, anger often feels powerful in the moment, but it leaves destruction in its wake. The loudest man in the room is rarely the strongest. The man who holds steady while others unravel, that's the one people trust. That's the one people follow. Now, don't confuse pausing with suppression. Suppression is burying your feelings and pretending they don't exist. Pausing is acknowledging them, owning them, and then choosing how to act. It's like holding a loaded weapon. You don't fire automatically, just because your finger's on the trigger. You breathe, aim, and decide if the target is even worth it. And here's the secret: every time you pause instead of explode, you're training your discipline like a muscle. You're rewiring your brain to respond differently. It's not easy, especially at first, but over time that pause becomes second nature. Practical tip: when anger rises, focus on your body. Clench your fist under the table. Breathe deeply through your nose. Count in your head. Anything that gives you just a few seconds before you respond. That space is where strength is born. The boys react. The men calculate. Boys ruin dinners, break trust, and damage relationships because they can't hold back. Men breathe, hold the line, and act with purpose. The Stoics weren't emotionless. They simply refused to be puppets of their emotions. So the next time life throws stupidity your way, don't let your mouth move before your mind does. Pause. Breathe. Decide. That small gap is the difference between weakness and mastery. Lesson 6. Set boundaries to prevent frustration. Here's a hard truth: you're not angry because people are too much. You're angry because you've allowed too much. Without clear boundaries, you're like a house with no doors. Everyone just walks in, leaves a mess, and you're left cleaning up the chaos. The Stoics taught us that peace doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling what you allow and what you tolerate. Think about your own life. How many times have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How often do you tolerate the coworker who piles their work on you, the friend who constantly makes snide comments, or the family member who drains your energy with endless drama? Each time you let it slide, resentment grows. And resentment, when ignored, becomes rage. That rage doesn't come out in the right moment. It leaks in the wrong places, often toward the people you love the most. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste time trying to please everyone. Epictetus didn't bend his life around others' demands. They knew where they ended and where the world began. That's not selfishness, it's sanity. I once knew a man who never set boundaries at work. He answered emails at midnight, took calls on weekends, and agreed to every urgent request. Outwardly, he looked dependable. Inside, he was boiling. And the irony: his colleagues respected him less, not more, because he was always available. He wasn't seen as a leader, he was seen as a doormat. Only when he began drawing clear lines, no calls after 6 p.m., this is your responsibility, not mine, did he regain control. People pushed back at first, but eventually they respected him more, because respect follows clarity. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They're filters to protect your peace. Without them, every annoyance seeps through. With them, only what matters makes it into your inner world. So how do you set boundaries without being rude? Simple: be clear and be firm. You don't need long explanations or arguments. A short, calm statement is enough. I can't take this on. Don't speak to me that way. That's not my responsibility. The first time you say it, it will feel uncomfortable. But discomfort is the price of growth. And each time you defend that line, you train yourself and others that your peace is not up for grabs. The Stoics believed that the man without self-control is not truly free. Boundaries are an extension of that self-control. They're how you prevent small irritations from building into major explosions. Because when you keep letting people cross invisible lines, don't be surprised when you erupt over the smallest thing. The problem isn't that they went too far. The problem is that you never told them where too far was. So take inventory. Where in your life are you tolerating too much? What conversations drain you? What tasks should you stop saying yes to? Write down the lines you need to draw. Then start enforcing them, not with anger, but with quiet firmness. Because here's the truth, frustration fades when clarity rises. The more you define what you accept, the less space stupidity has to invade. Your peace is not their job, it's your responsibility. And the way you protect it is by drawing the line. Lesson 7, use humor as a pressure release valve. Anger thrives in seriousness. The more tightly wound you are, the easier it is for life's nonsense to snap your patience. But humor, real lighthearted humor, is like a release valve. It punctures the tension and reminds you that most of the big problems are actually absurd little inconveniences dressed up in drama. Think about the last time someone said something so ridiculous it made your blood boil. Hours later, when you retold the story to a friend, didn't it almost sound like a comedy sketch? That's the power of shifting from participant to observer, from offended to amused. When you see the stupidity for what it is, you realize it doesn't deserve your cortisol, your clenched jaw, or your ruined day. The Stoics understood this. They weren't comedians, but they often used irony and perspective to deflate the power of insults. Seneca once advised that the best response to mockery is to laugh at it. Not because the insult was fair, but because laughter strips it of its sting. The moment you laugh, the moment you see the absurdity, the other person loses their grip on you. Here's a story. A close friend of mine worked in emergency medicine. He told me once that in the middle of chaotic shifts, blood panic screaming patients, the doctors often used humor to stay sane. Not cruel jokes, but small moments of levity. A quick quip about their own exhaustion, a shared laugh about a ridiculous miscommunication. That humor didn't make them less serious about their work, it made them more resilient. Because if you can laugh, you can think. And if you can think, you can stay calm under pressure. Now compare that to the man who explodes at every slight. One careless email ruins his day. One sarcastic remark derails his focus. He is, as the Stoics would say, a slave to appearances. But the man who smirks and shakes his head, he's free. Because humor is not weakness, it's mastery. Here's how you apply it. The next time someone does something absurd, cuts you off, sends a clueless text, rolls their eyes at you. Imagine you're watching it on a sitcom. Picture a laugh track in the background. Smile to yourself. Whisper, "You've got to be kidding me." That internal chuckle is not dismissing reality, it's reclaiming your peace. Of course, there's a warning here. Humor is not sarcasm. Sarcasm is anger disguised as wit. It's poison wrapped in a joke. True humor is clean, detached, and self-controlled. It doesn't sting others. It frees you. Think of a soldier in battle. If he explodes at every inconvenience, he burns out. But if he can laugh, if he can shake his head at the chaos, he remains human, grounded, and capable of carrying on. The same is true for us in daily life. So practice this. When the world tries to bait you into anger, don't take the bait. Laugh at the circus instead of joining it. The Stoics refused to become clowns in the madness of life, and so can you. Because once you can smile in the face of stupidity, you've already won. Not because the situation changed, but because you did. Lesson 8, respond like the person you want to become. Every reaction you give is not just a response to the present moment, it's training for the person you're becoming. Each outburst reinforces weakness. Each calm, deliberate choice reinforces strength. The Stoics believed that character is built choice by choice, moment by moment. And nowhere is this more visible than in how you handle anger. Here's the trap most men fall into. They believe that reacting fast and hitting back harder proves strength. They think raising their voice shows dominance. But in reality, those who react instantly are the easiest to control. Any fool can tug their strings. True strength isn't reactive, it's selective. It's the ability to choose your response even under fire. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, surrounded by political chaos and betrayal, didn't scream at every slight. He reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the standard. Not perfection, but progress, becoming a man who responds with clarity, not chaos. Let me share a story. A father I once knew described how his evenings used to unfold. He'd come home stressed, kids yelling, his partner frustrated, phone buzzing. His old self would snap, raising his voice, escalating the tension, making the house feel like a battlefield. But over time, he realized he didn't want his children to remember him as the man who lost control. He wanted them to remember steadiness. So he started practicing a simple shift before reacting. He asked himself, how would the man I want to become handle this? That pause changed everything. Instead of adding to the chaos, he became the calm center of it, and his family followed his example. That's the invitation here. Next time stupidity pokes at you, don't just ask, how do I feel? Ask, who am I training to be? Are you rehearsing impulsiveness, or are you rehearsing discipline? Are you shaping yourself into someone who explodes at nonsense, or someone who commands respect by remaining grounded? Think of it like building muscle. You don't lift a weight once and call yourself strong. Strength comes from repetition. The same is true with emotional control. Each time you resist snapping back, you put in another rep. Each time you pause and respond with purpose, you're shaping a stronger, calmer version of yourself. This doesn't mean you'll never feel anger. Anger is human. But responding like the man you want to become means not letting anger drive the car. You sit in the driver's seat. You decide if and how that energy gets used. Sometimes that means silence. Sometimes it means a firm, measured response. But it never means surrendering your power to impulse. Here's the truth. The strongest man in the room is not the one who yells the loudest. It's the one who stays steady while everyone else loses control. That man becomes a leader not just of others, but of himself. So remember this, every moment of anger is also a moment of training. Train like the man you want to become. Respond like he's already here. Because the world doesn't just test your patience, it shapes your legacy. Conclusion. Tomorrow one. Anger will always knock at your door. The world will never run out of careless drivers, rude coworkers, or foolish remarks. But what defines you is not the knock, it's whether you open the door and let that anger rule your life. The Stoics taught us that strength is not found in shouting louder or hitting harder. True strength is found in restraint and perspective, in mastering yourself when everything around you seems designed to provoke you. And that mastery isn't built in one day. It's built in moments, tiny choices stacked on top of each other until they form unshakable character. Imagine how different your life would feel if the little things no longer owned you. If traffic didn't ruin your morning, if sarcasm didn't poison your afternoon, if a careless shrug couldn't steal your peace. That life isn't reserved for saints or philosophers, it's available to you here now through practice. 8 lessons, 8 ways to reclaim your power, recognize the pattern, uncover the real source, stop taking things personally, zoom out with perspective, pause before reacting, draw firm boundaries, use humor to disarm, and respond as the man you want to become. Carry these with you this week. Practice them one at a time. And remember, anger doesn't just destroy moments, it shapes your identity. So choose the identity you want. If this message resonated with you, share it. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. And most importantly, live it. Because the man who masters his anger doesn't just win peace, he wins himself.